Hello everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another Crypto by Nature news update. I don't know if you guys have seen my other Andrew Yang video. He is the 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, and he is a crypto, I don't know if you want to call him an enthusiast, but we'll say that he at least knows what he's talking about when it comes to blockchain and crypto, which is more than I can say, for a lot of the other candidates. He is one of the candidates that actually have a plan for crypto regulation and many other things. So let's get into this article here on the BitcoinExchangeGuide.com, written by Gabrielle M. Bitcoin Twitter loves Andrew Yang. Let's see what she says here. There's a lot of hype building up around the US presidential election of 2020. The Trump government continues to be controversial, so a lot of people are eager to know who has the potential to replace the current president. The Next Web's hard fork has recently made an interesting piece of research on Bitcoin Twitter to discover which candidates were the favorites, and they found out that Andrew Yang, a Democratic Party candidate, is the absolute favorite of the Bitcoin community. However, he's not the only one. In the analysis, the site found out that most candidates simply never ever mention crypto at all during their campaigns. Shocker, surprise. Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, and even Elizabeth Warren were names which receive a lot of attention from the mainstream media, but are not so close to the crypto circles. The three individuals who mentioned cryptocurrencies the most were Andrew Yang at 75%, John Delaney at 17.5%, and John Kasich at 7.5%. This shows why Yang is a favorite, since he is talking about cryptos all the time, which is bound to call the attention of the community. He has also opened his campaign to Bitcoin donations recently, as well as Ethereum, which makes him the most pro-crypto candidate so far. In fact, he is a declared fan of the blockchain and has said that cryptos could be very important in order to create digital social society. Yang's interest in blockchain is not even recent. He first tweeted about it in 2013. At the time, he affirmed that the price correction in the asset could make people nervous. He was referencing a price drop that took Bitcoin down from over $1,000 USD. So I don't know if you guys ever heard about Yang. The other thing he's most popular for besides crypto is the Universal Basic Income, UBI for short. And let's see what they say. In case you are not aware of the concept, it means that each American would receive $1,000 USD from the government each month after the age of 18. That is very interesting, very popular with a lot of people, especially the younger generation. What do you guys think about universal basic income? He does talk about it in this video coming up, but very interesting. I don't know how he would pay for it. I don't know too much about his plan, but it is very interesting. Not too many presidential candidates you hear about giving a universal basic income. Okay guys, let's get into this video. This is of interview with Andrew Yang on the CoinChat YouTube channel. Link will be in the description down below. He first answers a question here about universal basic income and blockchain. Let's see what he has to say.
Just at a meeting of people who are looking to distribute universal basic income on the blockchain, which I think is where it will go eventually. I'm also for the implementation of a national digital currency to supplement the dollar, because there are many things that we could do that the dollar cannot do. So this campaign really, and one of the jokes I tell is that people sometimes call me a futurist, but I believe I'm a presentist. It's just that most of the politicians are stuck in the past because that's just their experience.
For sure.
But for me, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've worked in technology for about 20 years, and I know what's possible.
So that's very interesting. He wants to do a universal basic income, and he's talking about a national digital currency. Very interesting. That would be interesting if we actually had a cryptocurrency, a USD cryptocurrency that's actually backed by the feds. I know there is a USD stablecoin, but something actually backed by the federal government, that would be interesting, with a universal basic income concept around it. In the next part of the video, they ask him about privacy coins and also how he would help implement cryptocurrency, blockchain, into the United States, because the interviewer says that, the U.S. has been lacking, and I agree with him in a lot of ways. with the regulations and the SEC cracking down and stuff like that, crypto, and look at what's happening in New York. Crypto is not the easiest place to get along in the US. Various places in Europe, even India, other places with lesser regulations are thriving more than the US. So let's see what he says here.
Interesting. It's an interesting point that you made. You raised a couple of comments in this that I wanted to pick up on. One was the transparency, which, as you probably know, with cryptocurrency, when you get into privacy coins, it creates some interesting dilemmas, especially for the IRS and for tax. The other thing that I'm wondering about, so I'm just going to ask you these two things together, is that I'm based in London, by the way. Yuri's based in Boston. So as an outsider that spent most of my last 2 years in the crypto world as an advisor to other companies, what I've seen is a complete absence of the US being really present, mostly because of regulation, because of the SEC. And I'm just wondering if you have any particular views on how we can open up the potential channels for allowing the US to really thrive in a cryptocurrency community or a crypto community, a blockchain community, when there's been so much that's restricted America, while we've seen China and Korea and Japan and India and some parts of Europe just thrive, Russia thriving because technology and people have been able to really get into it. And I've seen the US just kind of fall behind on some respects. Do you have any thoughts on privacy and its impact on tax, and also how we can open up the channels to really open up the doors for more innovation in crypto and blockchain for the US?
I think that the second point is so key, where people think of America as like the hotbed of innovation and technology, but in reality, the American, certainly the political system, is quite backward and retrograde and incredibly bureaucratic. And you can see it with the blockchain and other cryptocurrencies, where the US has essentially thrown its hands up and been like, don't really have an approach here. And so as a result, certainly there are many people in America who are making use of cryptocurrencies, but it's not as supported, and there's a lot more confusion in the US because the place is just not as forward-looking. So I hope to be able to change that. I mean, as president, I believe I could start to move America forward. And one of the other jokes I tell is that the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes meth. Where his goal is to freeze time and turn the clock backwards, and we need to accelerate time and move it forwards. And that includes certainly having a much more intelligent approach to the blockchain and other technologies that would really. So I think the other thing that's going on in the US that's very painful to admit is that there's just a lot of rent seeking in the US. And the truth is, if you had the blockchain and other technologies fully revved up, then you would end up disintermediating accounting firms and law firms and financial institutions. And those institutions really control much of the American system, where no one wants to let anything out that's going to end up disrupting their revenue streams.
And there you have it. I think out of everything I just heard, the most important thing, and something you never hear people talk about, is that all these industries will be affected by blockchain. I mean, even with automation coming in, blockchain will work hand in hand with that. I think we all know that. And there will be industries, several industries that are disrupted. These people and that have been in these industries that own big parts of these industries, they don't want to make less money. They don't want their money to be affected by some new technology that they can't do anything about. So that is a lot to do with the pushback in the US with blockchain, with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. In this next clip, they ask Andrew Yang about mobile blockchain voting. That is something I have heard about in the past. It did pique my interest. Very interesting. It would be an easy way to get a lot more people involved in the voting process. One of the biggest parts of people not voting, they don't want to even expend the energy to go out somewhere, wait online, go through the whole voting process. Now, if you could just pull up an app on your phone backed by the blockchain algorithm and then vote, and then it actually count, that would be absolutely amazing, and more Americans would actually vote. So that would be pretty cool. Let's see what Andrew Yang has to say about this.
The verification done by a blockchain. How would you sell that to the older generation of American people and calm their fears about being hacked or issues with using some new technology? and to kind of lower their fears, considering some of the noise we heard from the last election.
Yeah, so the truth is that any voting system you're going to have, you're going to be working with legacy systems and the paper backup for some period of time. So to me, the big move we have to start making is we have to start making it so you have multimodal voting, where people who are comfortable voting on their smartphone just like beep boop, like done. And then if you're an old person, you want to wait in line, like be our guest. But you pretty much need to keep them both around for a little while, because the other thing is that people would be concerned about not having some kind of hard copy backup.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting. I think he's right about that. There should be and probably will be some kind of hard copy backup, just in case something happens to the digital part. So let me know what you guys think about Andrew Yang. He's very, very popular in the crypto space for good reason. Listen to what he says. I mean, I don't think you ever hear any other candidates talk like he talks about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or blockchain. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please comment, and let's get a dialogue going. Crypto by nature, guys. Till the next video, I'm out.